In the last 6 months, I've gained around 70,000 followers or so on Instagram. In this video, I'm going to run you through everything I've learned from that process. So you can take my systems, you can take my processes, my type of content, you can replicate it, you can copy it, paste it into your business and get similar results to me, I'd hope. Firstly, the biggest or one of the biggest problems I see when it comes to coaching businesses and when I speak to new coaches is that they're very good coaches, right? They're very good coaches. They're quite good actually booking sales calls when the leads are there and people are interested. They're quite good at closing people if people are interested. The biggest problem is they just haven't got enough people interested to begin with, and they haven't got enough leads, they haven't got enough new followers, enough new eyes on the page, right? And in the last 10 years, I've worked with some of the biggest fitness businesses in the space, people with 100K, 200K, 500K, 600K followers on Instagram, a million plus on TikTok. And we've seen the systems we've used for those guys to grow. We've seen, we've built the systems myself personally with them to grow, to monetize that audience, to get leads. And it was only in the last 6 months I started kind of replicating a similar system when it came to growing my own personal brand. And I'll run you through exactly how we did it. But the reason you should listen to me is because, I've actually done it. There's a lot of people talking about building a personal brand, getting followers, getting attention, getting engagement that I've never done it. I have like 2,000 followers and half of them are their old school friends, With me, I've actually done it. I've actually built my own personal brand to 70K plus followers. And we also have clients with 100K, 200K, 500K, 600K followers on Instagram and social media. I'm just taking you through my thought process, my experience, my journey on that. So that's why I guess you should listen to me when it comes to this. So in terms of the step processes, one of the biggest first things to kind of shy away from and start shying away from if you're watching this video is I realize there's a big shift in kind of what and how content used to work back in the day. And right now there's a lot of people and with AI, right, and ChatGPT and how things are. And here's a funny thought experiment as well. ChatGPT and AI, I took one afternoon with my grandma to show her because she always has questions around recipes, around kind of supplementation, stuff like that for her health, and recipes and what to cook and whatnot. And she uses Facebook. She knows how to use Facebook. We took maybe one afternoon to just kind of show her how she can use ChatGPT and the voice feature. So as opposed to Googling things where it's a bit clunky and like there's issues, she's 80 now, so there's issues like typing and different languages come up and stuff like that. With ChatGPT with a voice feature, she can literally go on it at 80, but go into the voice feature and ask it, I want to get tips for this, I want to cook this recipe. And with that, what no longer works on social media, what no longer works on content is to just post tips and value-based content. Like that's not going to go viral. That's not going to get clients because tips you can get from AI, you can get from Google, you can get all of that information. So it just needs to be more unique and it needs to be more hyper-specific towards who you are, what you do. And it also needs to be more polarizing, right? That's the first kind of shift. Just posting direct to camera content which you're giving free tips on fat loss or weight loss or muscle building. Like people have seen that 1,000,001 times. They just want specific solutions to the problems that they have and how you can solve it. That's the very first thing we need to change if we want to go viral with the right people we want to work with. So looking at your content as what do I need to do to get more of the right type of people, the more of the right type of people that I actually want to work with, like what's the kind of content that's going to pull them in. That'll be the first thing to kind of look at pivoting away from just posting like really direct to camera, like really boring content, right? Especially on Instagram, it doesn't really work anymore. That'll be the first thing. The second thing is looking at what's the kind of content that your audience is already looking at, that they're already watching, that's going quite viral, and how can you add your own spin to it? How can you replicate it in some form or way? Like so many coaches don't want to sound like everyone else, And I get that, but there's already a conversation happening within the fitness space and within the pro space, right? There's already conversation happening around certain things that people are thinking about. Like your audience is probably already thinking about stuff they've seen on TikTok, or they've seen on Instagram, or they've seen on social media. So if you start a conversation on your content and you say, I've just seen this video, here's everything I believe about this video, here's everything that's good about this video, here's the stuff that's maybe not so good. Like that's already going to pull people's attention because they already have those kind of beliefs. Like a really good example of this was a month ago or 2 months ago when the guy with Ashton Hall, like the guy with the ice and the morning routine, like the guy that's waking up super early and doing the ice plunge in the counter, right? Like that guy's already making that content. If you just do a video of you just giving your thoughts on it, if you just do a video you reacting to that video, or you just giving your 2 cents on it, like people are already thinking about these stuff. People are already thinking about this, so they're thinking like this video is super silly, but is there anything kind of valuable to it? I'd highly encourage you to look at kind of doing more content. Like some of my best performing videos, just from a follower perspective and from a virality and a growth perspective. For example, like watching a 5-second video or 10-second video of something that's already happening within my space, like a viral hook, for example, because I speak to personal trainers, coaches, business owners. Like if I watch a video of a viral hook or trending video and then I give my own sense on that video afterwards, like that video is guaranteed to get 2x, 3x, sometimes even 10x the amount of engagement and views, because that conversation is already happening with the people you want to work with. Like looking at reaction-based content would be such a sensible idea. Like if you want to format on this as well in terms of how you can format reaction-based content, super easy. Using CapCut and how you can make it look really nice. If you message me on Instagram saying formats or reaction or something like that, I can send that formatting over. But that would be so sensible to look at. And then the second thing as a byproduct or as a follow-up on that as well is just spending a little bit of research time every single week, spending 30 minutes per week or so, just looking at the explore page, looking at Instagram, looking at TikTok, looking at what's the short form content that the people you want to work with are consuming and watching. Like what are the trends, right? What's already working? And one of the reasons like I can go viral and I'll continue to go viral is I look at the trends, I look at what kind of content people are already watching and consuming, and I just look at how can I make this content my own, how can I add my own tone of voice and spin to it. If you look at doing that, it will crush. Like 6 months ago, and with our clients as well, one form of content that's crushed in its crushing right now is B-roll content. If it might be like a 5-second video of you drinking coffee, or you with your partner on the beach, or you training in the gym, and then you add a relatable thought over the top of that, something that's kind of your own thought, your own process, something that you believe in. A collection of those and a collection of you sharing your thoughts consistently over time is just gonna guarantee the growth of your followers, of your business, and then have the right leads and followers on top of it. So just wrapping up here, as I know we're getting close to that 10-minute mark, is the following. So just to summarize, the 3 biggest things I'd look at is get away from posting value content and just get really clear on thinking, what's the problem I'm solving with each bit of content. Make the problem one hyper specific problem and solve that with a bit of content. The second thing is just looking at the trends on social media, looking at what's already working, and look at how you can add your own spin and recreate that in your own format. And then the third thing to follow up and wrap up on here is, as well, is don't be afraid to be more yourself on social media. Everyone is creating content that's already calorie deficits and tips and value, but how can you get more of your personality across? How can you get the stuff you really believe in? How can you give people a behind the scenes kind of look at the curtain and see who you are and what you believe in? If you kind of master those 3 things, it's almost physically impossible. You can't grow your followers, you can't get more clients. So it's just so simple, man. So yeah, I hope you get value from this video. I will still, as always, attach a link below down this video where we can audit your business, audit and rate it on these three metrics. So number one would be your ability to book sales calls, your ability to close sales calls, and then coach clients. We'll review those three bullet points and review those key metrics in your business and see what specific game plan and strategy you need to grow and achieve your goals by the end of this year. So if you want to speak to myself personally with doing that, you have the opportunity to do that from the description. Make sure to hit subscribe because I'm posting content like this daily.